We're in the Royal National Park just south of Sydney. Our WRX STI is the top spec R-spec, spec R. STI comes in 3 trim levels. STI, STI Premium, and STI R-spec, or spec R. There's about $7,000 between the bottom one and the top one, starting at about $50,000 and finishing at about $57,000-ish. So with on-road, you're looking at about $63,000 on the road. It's got a sunroof, electric driver seat adjustment, and a whole bunch of clever electronics to help you stay on the road. The 2.5 litre turbo engine has 221 kilowatts and 406 newton meters of torque, and that's an awful lot. This car weighs around 1,500 kilos and does a 0 to 100 in about 5.2 seconds. That's enough to be going on with. It's all-wheel drive and has limited slip diffs front and rear. There's a helical limited slip at the front and a torsion limited slip at the back. And in between is a clever centre diff, which is controlled by this device. I've got an automatic. Also, there is drive control. At the moment it's in normal, and it comes up on the dashboard and shows you what torque curve you've got. I've now got the SI drive in Super Sport or Sports Plus or whatever Subaru calls it. What that does is sharpen the throttle as if the throttle needed sharpening. The response is just extraordinary. 5.2 is a respectable 0 to 100, but it's not just that it's fast to 100, it's the fact that the torque comes on nice and early. It's a single scroll turbo, so there is a little bit of lag, a tiny bit, but it doesn't slap you on the back of the head. The all-wheel drive is symmetrical, which is supposed to keep all of the wheels connected to the road all of the time. This car does not have Subaru's eyesight, but it does have other safety gizmos to give it a 5-star rating when tested. Now, this is getting to be a little bit old. The 2.5 litre engine is one of Subaru's older engines. The normal WRX has less power, but that engine is a newer one. But that's okay. This is a driver's car, and because of that, the ride is firm, very firm, and the torque control doesn't affect the ride, it's fixed. On this road, which is a fairly smooth one, you can just feel the gentle undulations through the seat of your pants. Importantly, you can feel the road surface through the steering, because the steering is power assisted, but it's hydraulic power assistance, not electric, so it's driven by you and not a computer. Because it's hydraulic, of course, it means there's no automated parking, which in my view is no loss. Nice to have, but only if you can't drive. And if you can't park a car, frankly, you shouldn't be driving. You can use STI for your city commute. It only comes in a manual, as I said, but it's a very easy manual to use. And because it's easy to use, with a nice light clutch and a gentle uptake, city traffic really isn't a problem. There's some that say they'd rather an auto, but if you buy an auto, you'll be buying the normal WRX. And I'm disappointed in the fact that the normal WRX only has a CVT, not a proper automatic. I wish I could tell you how nice this feels on the road, how gently it goes around the corner. In many ways, a car that handles so well can be a little bit of a disappointment. Let me explain. Because there's no wallowing, no body roll, no body movement, driving this car is incredibly easy. There's no drama. spiritedly and you have to change gears a lot. It's got some stiff competition. I was in Honda's new R-Type recently on a racetrack, and it's an absolute peach. But Subaru's got a lot of history with rally driving, and our friend Cody Crocker is a rally champion, and he won a lot of kudos driving a Subaru. So for about $63,000 on the road, $57,000 list price, you can get a road-going rally car. The only thing missing is a cage. For that kind of money, you do have a lot of choice, but not a lot of cars handle as this does. The STI is up against Focus's slightly manic RS, and the RS, though fabulous, is very firm. It's very, very firm. A little bit more practical. It's a liftback, which means that there's extra room in the boot, but as you saw, this boot is incredibly generous. You could, if you wanted, have a track day and take a spare set of wheels, I guess. It opens right through and the seats fold almost flat. We're nearing the end of the life of this model. There's a new one due in 12 months or so, or within 12 months. And it will be on Subaru's new global platform. They've just released two cars on that global platform, the XV and the Impreza. And it's incredibly sorted. Having said that, there's nothing wrong with this. Platforms are usually just more for manufacturing convenience than anything else. And a new platform isn't necessarily better than the old platform. I'd rate STI at about 8.5 out of 10. It loses a few marks for fuel economy, which is around 10.5 litres per 100 kilometres. I'd expect a little bit more from a car with a 4-cylinder engine, even though it's a performance one. It's still not bad. Importantly for me, there is no Apple CarPlay. That's a terrible oversight. Other Subarus have CarPlay, and although we have sat-nav and AM/FM radio with Harman Kardon sound, there is no digital radio. I'm at a loss to understand why the last hurrah for this model wouldn't have CarPlay and digital radio. But apart from those few little misdemeanors, it's fantastic. I particularly like the two screens, which when you use reverse, presents a picture in both screens. It's also got a camera on the left-hand side, and importantly, it's got a front camera as well, so you can stick the nose out into traffic just far enough to see. It's got rear cross traffic alert, but no rear autonomous braking, like the XV does. All around, it's a good package. As I said, at 63,000 on the road, there's quite a bit of choice. But if this one's this good, it makes me wonder what the next one will be.